Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Gottesman here with another Speaking Truth Quick Take. Today, I'm speaking directly to a community that I'm proud to be part of America's seniors, a community that sometimes is forgotten. And as a senior myself, I'm concerned, very concerned. Although Donald Trump has repeatedly promised us that he will protect Social Security and Medicare, I'm not so sure. But I think we need to ask a much bigger question. What does it really mean to protect us as we grow older? Because our retirement security is about a lot more than whether Washington officially cuts our Social Security checks or eliminates the Medicare benefit. It's really about whether we can afford our prescriptions, whether we can actually reach someone at Social Security when there's a problem with our benefits, whether we can find safe, affordable nursing home or home care if we need it, whether our savings are protected from increasingly sophisticated financial scams, and whether those of us living on fixed incomes can absorb another round of higher prices. That is what retirement security is about. And when I look at the Trump administration's record through that lens, I'm kind of worried. Let's look at prescription drugs. The administration has decided to end after 2026 a Medicare program that's helped restrain premiums for standalone Part D prescription drug plans. Here in New Jersey, my state, roughly 930,000 Medicare beneficiaries are enrolled in standalone Part D coverage. Imagine how many nationwide or in your state. We don't know yet exactly what our 2027 premiums will look like. Those of us living on fixed incomes have every right to ask, why is Washington withdrawing assistance that was designed to protect us from sharp premium increases? Then there's Medicaid. A lot of people think Medicaid is primarily health insurance for low income children and working age adults, but at our age, we need to understand something very important. Medicaid is also one of the foundations of America's long term care system. Many of us spend decades working and saving, but nursing home care can consume those savings incredibly quickly. For countless middle class families, Medicaid eventually becomes the only way to pay for long term nursing home care after someone's lifetime savings have been exhausted. Yet legislation signed by President Trump substantially reduces projected federal Medicaid spending over the coming decade. And those reductions don't stay on some spreadsheet in Washington. They can put pressure on our states, our hospitals, our nursing homes, our home care systems, and ultimately families. At the same time, the administration has rescinded federal minimum staffing requirements for nursing homes participating in Medicare and Medicaid. That's for the owners of nursing homes. But what about us? If we end up in one of those nursing homes, we'll make sure there are enough nurses and aides to properly care for us. That's not an abstract policy debate. That could be the future for you and I. Now let's talk about Social Security. The administration announced plans to reduce the Social Security Administration's workforce. Now, I want to be accurate about this. That's not a cut in our Social Security benefits. And the administration also says its restructuring of Social Security Administration has improved telephone service and reduced backlogs. I don't know, the last time I called, it didn't seem to be working. But those of us who rely on Social Security need more than a promise that our checks won't be cut. We need the system to work when our husband or wife dies, when a payment suddenly changes, when we receive an overpayment notice, when somebody simply makes a mistake with our benefits. We need to be able to reach a live person who can help us. An 82-year-old American shouldn't have to be a technology expert or depend upon an adult child just to fix a problem involving the money that pays the rent or buys groceries. And there's another threat that I think all of us seniors need to take extremely seriously: financial fraud. We are the prime targets. Scammers impersonate banks, government agencies, even our children and grandchildren. And AI is making these scams more convincing than ever. Voices can now be cloned, identities can be fabricated. The terrified voice on the telephone that sounds exactly like our grandson asking for money, it might not be your grandson. And at precisely the same time when we need strong consumer protections, the Trump administration has dramatically reduced the operations and staffing of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and has sought to curtail its enforcement role. Now, there's a legitimate debate about whether CFPB has sometimes gone too far. Fine. But if you're going to weaken one of our major consumer watchdogs, then tell us, who's going to protect seniors from increasingly sophisticated financial fraud? Because after working 40 or 50 years, we shouldn't have to worry that one convincing scam could wipe out our retirement savings. And then there's something every one of us understands: the cost of living. Most of us can't respond to higher prices by working overtime. We can't walk into the boss's office and negotiate a raise. Our budgets depend on Social Security pensions and savings we accumulated over decades. So when prices go up, we feel it. That's why tariffs matter to seniors. Tariffs are taxes on imported goods. Some of those costs may be absorbed by businesses or foreign producers, but when those costs ultimately show up in the prices we pay, people living on fixed incomes have fewer options. For someone still working, higher prices hurt. But for someone who's 78 years old and living primarily on Social Security and retirement savings, higher prices can mean permanent loss of purchasing power. Now, I'm not going to tell you that everything the Trump administration has done hurts seniors. That wouldn't be fair. The administration has pursued some initiatives intended to reduce certain prescription drug costs. They have. But at the same time, it's ending the Medicare Part D premium stabilization programs that has helped restrain premiums. You can't play both sides of the street. We have to look at the whole picture because we seniors should judge any administration, Republican or Democrat, by its complete record, not its slogans. Now, when I put this record together, here's what I see: less federal support for Medicaid and long-term care, the elimination of federal minimum staffing requirements for nursing homes, the end of assistance that helps restrain Medicare prescription drug premiums, a smaller workforce administering Social Security, a weakened federal consumer watchdog while scams targeting us become more sophisticated, and tariffs that risk increasing prices for millions of Americans who have little ability to increase their income. These policies come from different parts of government. They all have different explanations, and none of us is going to receive an envelope in the mail saying, "Hi, this is the US government. We just made your retirement less secure." But that's the point. because we don't experience government policies as a collection of programs in Washington. We experience them at the pharmacy counter. We experience them when we open the electric bill. We experience them when we try to reach Social Security. We experience it when a scammer comes after our retirement savings, and we experience it when we or our children begin looking for a safe and affordable place to care for us when we can no longer live independently. That is what retirement security really means. Our country made a bargain with generations of Americans like us. Work, contribute, play by the rules. Save what you can, and after a lifetime of doing your part, you should be able to grow old with a basic measure of security and dignity. Protecting that bargain requires a lot more than politicians promising not to cut our Social Security checks. I think every major decision coming out of Washington should have to pass one simple test. Will this make it easier or harder for us to grow old securely? And for far too many of Trump administration's decisions, I believe the answer is clearly harder. So if you're a senior watching this, I'm asking you to do something. Pay attention, ask questions, and most of all, speak up. Contact your members of Congress. Ask them, what are you doing to protect our Social Security, our Medicare, our prescription drug coverage, our long term care, and our retirement savings? And demand that protecting America's seniors becomes more than a campaign promise. Demand that it become a priority. If this quick take has made you more aware of what's happening and encouraged you to make your voice heard, then this video has accomplished its purpose. And please share it seniors, because these aren't somebody else's Social Security benefits. These aren't somebody else's Medicare premiums. And this isn't somebody else's retirement security. This is about us. I'm Mike Gottesman. I'm a fellow senior citizen. And I'm concerned that the security and dignity of America's seniors are not receiving the attention they deserve from this administration. We worked for it, we contributed to it, and we have every right to demand that it be protected. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time on Speaking Truth Quick Takes.